Welcome back, Michael Brooks Show. I am very happy right now that joining us is Jabari Brisport. We talked with him back in August, I believe, in the second episode. We're now on episode 13. He is running an incredibly impressive, strong, for real green socialist campaign for city council in Brooklyn. And he'll explain in a second again to everybody which districts he's encompassing. And I want to encourage everybody who could, because I know there's definitely people who watch and listen to the show specifically in that district, but there's also lessons for everybody here in terms of how to get out and really go for it in their community. So, Jabari, could you just give us a brief update in terms of, like, first of all, remind everybody what district you're running in, what date they're supposed to vote, and then just tell us, like, how's it going? You're building a lot of momentum. This is real.
Yeah, totally. I'm sorry for the ambient noise. It's lunchtime, so I'm actually outside on my bike. I was knocking outdoors.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so I'm running in District 35. The neighborhoods are Fort Greene, Clinton Hill, Prospect Heights, Crown Heights, and like a sliver of Bed-Stuy.
Yep.
And it's been going really well. It's been kind of an insurgent campaign, probably the most momentum of any local Green campaign in New York City history, which is great to know because I love the Green Party, and I'm really excited to be doing this and happily to get the backing of the Democratic Socialists of America. They've been sending out hundreds of volunteers, and we are knocking on tens of thousands of doors and getting a lot of visibility, a lot of great press, and I really think we're going to win this thing.
Yeah, I think it's like, this is very, very real. What issues, because this is another thing that's so great about this campaign is that there's been a whole set of issues, and I think that, specifically to New York, but they have national resonance because there's these shared themes of whether you're talking about policing, the environment, housing, and inequality. There's been this sense that these are like the main crisis points, and you've even seen in New York specifically more mainstream Democratic figures who are at least liberal, like a guy like Bill de Blasio. He's even changed his tune a little bit in terms of when he talks about housing. He used to kind of say that his sort of like just give developers whatever they want and then force and then be like, hey, will you build a couple of quote unquote affordable units? And he used to say a year or two ago, he used to really be like, this is the best we can do, this is a good policy. And now he's been changing his tune to more like, look guys, I don't know what you want me to do, essentially like, these people own the city. And you've taken these areas of a real sense of like where there's inevitability and defeat, which is true, frankly, for operating the capitalist system. It is inevitability and defeat. And you've turned it on their head in terms of housing, inequality, race, and policing. How have you done that?
Well, honestly, by getting at the heart of the issue, which is that capitalism is in crisis and really destroying our cities, if not our entire world. And like, just going back to de Blasio, like his policies were dead wrong, but I think he's changed his tune because at the end of the day, he's a human and he can see that, you can't really negotiate with billionaires because multimillionaires and billionaires, they have one goal, and that's to make even more money. So any policy that attempts to concede with them or, get to give them like a little tax break or something to get them to do the right thing, it's not going to work because their bottom line is to make more money. So we've been able to speak to people. It's been catching on like fire. My message of saying, well, let's just stop giving tax breaks and public money to for-profit developers. It should go to nonprofit and public only.
Right.
And a big thing that's caught a lot of fire is something called a community land trust, where people can organize into a nonprofit entity and steward the land, work with nonprofit developers, housing experts, architects to build something that actually works for them.
Yes, this is brilliant. And when you're out, I mean, again, there's definitely a big contingent in this district, of younger people and a certain kind of, profile, I guess, of people in 20s and 30s who would sort of fit in this kind of politics. But you're hitting it with people who have lived in the neighborhood for decades. You're hitting it with people who have been, who are the kind of prime victims of gentrification. Of course, now you have an interesting situation in a place like the 35th District in Brooklyn where there's waves of gentrification. So now some of the earliest gentrifiers are getting gentrified out themselves because of this. They're like, whoa, wait a fucking second. But when you just go door to door, what are people most, like, what are they most resonant about, and what's getting them to make that transition where they're leaving their comfort zone and voting for a candidate who isn't of the machine and is of something new and dynamic like you are?
housing is by far like the crisis point of the city. So it's that, and they may not say it's capitalism, they may just say phrases like it's all about the money or it's all big business, but ultimately it's the same thing. It's the for-profit model that's pissing people off because they understand it's not working for them. But aside from that, I mean, my messages of police reform and bringing the police, the NYPD under community control has been resonating hard, but then also just a lot of quality of life issues, like especially in neighborhoods like Crown Heights. I mean, right on my office building, there are a lot of, just kids that have nothing to do after school, and they hang out, they get into trouble right around the office, and so, a lot of people just wishing there were more things for kids to do after school. And that's an issue that comes out of poor communities. Rich communities, they have things for their children to do. Poor communities, they don't, and then the kids get into trouble, which is unfortunate. And then surprisingly, one of the most contentious things has been the city bike expansion and the loss of some parking spaces, which is unfortunate because, in my opinion, they could just put the city bike racks on the sidewalk, which would seem to solve a lot of problems. And then actually what's coming a lot the past few days is just rats, believe it or not. And so
no, I live in the neighborhood, I believe it.
So you've seen them.
Yes,
and I've seen them too. And there's things we can do to try and mitigate that. So it ranges from more macro things like the housing crisis to just like why there are rats on my sidewalk, but also to get people fired up. And again, my message is resonating.
Well, you're trying to reverse the incentive structure. So instead of just it's like we act like there's infinite resource for things that benefit almost no one and no resource for things that would benefit so many. And then we bring in a police state to manage the crisis that we create with our economy. And you're trying to reset and revitalize and flip that equation on its head in a practical way. So, and in a way that really could benefit the city. I mean, I just think, if you're in that district or even if you're anywhere in New York, come in election day. Tell everybody when election day is again.
It is November 7th. Polls will be open from 6 a.m. in the morning until 9 p.m. at night. And you can just Google NYC poll site locator, and that'll give you where you have to go to vote.
And tell everybody again how they can find you and how they could potentially come. I know I'm going to be spending time the next couple of days. You'll find me out helping make this happen for Jabari. We got to do this.
Yeah, so if you want to come directly to my office, I'm there usually during the day, and then I'm usually biking around like I am now. But the office is in Crown Heights. It's at 565 Lincoln Place, and we're open just basically all the time now because it's the last week. If you can't make it out, you can definitely just go to the website, jabari2017.nyc, and if you want to donate some more money, just we can print a few more flyers for the big Get Out the Vote push, or you want to volunteer to phone bank and call it, that's great too. Jabari
Brisport. This is a model for also, and I just think, again, like people should just learn, like Jabari's, he's got experience organizing activism. You're a smart dude. You know how to talk. You care about this stuff. So you just did it. And, and if you could just do it in, frankly, an area where even in a city council race, the basic bar to entry in terms of like the amount of people and the geography and the money, you can do this anywhere. Like, that is a cliche about New York that's true. If you can do it here, you can probably do it anywhere. So follow the lead. More progressive
needs to run. More socialist needs to run. Like, run. Everybody listening, just run. If you want to run, do it.
Absolutely. Jabari Brisport, I'm really excited. It's great watching it. I respect you. I'm really excited about it. I'm glad that we've been getting to know each other, and let's make this happen, man.
Likewise, Michael. Talk to you soon.
Okay. Take care, Jabari.
Hi, folks. Sam Seder here. We still need your help on our Patreon page. YouTube ads have come back, but not nearly as much as we had before. So if you can help us out, any little bit helps. Head over to our Patreon page right at this URL, and you'll help us keep helping you by making videos